Hey friends, Gary here. Welcome to today's video. Telephoto lens. It's an amazing tool in photography to help us create impressive photo. It offers perspective that is just so majestic and truly different from what we usually see with our own eyes. Many people, my friends, my family, and also some viewers of the channel ask me how to get great telephoto pictures, and in this video I will answer that question. I will share some tips and tricks to get the most out of your telephoto lens. Keep in mind, I'm not an expert photographer. I'm just sharing what I think works best, and feel free to add on the comment down below your own telephoto tips and tricks so that we can all learn together. Also, I'm using mainly micro four thirds cameras and lenses. If you are using different format, don't worry, I think this could still translate into your own camera format and you can still squeeze as much benefits as possible from this video. Tip number 1, fill the frame. Telephoto is all about focus and emphasize, and having the subject filling an appropriate proportional amount of the frame will help to create a stronger image and also makes the picture stand out. This is a very straightforward technique, and it's one of the best way to get a guaranteed best result when using telephoto lens. Now that we've talked about filling the frame, second tip is to experiment with negative composition. Now I will confuse you and tell exactly the opposite of what I just mentioned. Experiment with negative composition. So have your subject small rather than filling the frame, and use background to fill the rest of the frame to create an interesting look. Now I bet you are confused. Now, instead of filling the frame with just our subject and focusing on the subject itself with negative composition, we want to use a small subject, not microscopically small. You can still see it clearly in the frame, but we want to use it as a tool to convey a sense of scale. This works really well, especially in landscape photos. It's a different kind of storytelling tool, and I think it can create an interesting result. Now, in order to be able to pull this off, you have to do a lot of consideration. First of all, we don't want background that is way too cluttered. We want to have it controlled, and we want a strong subject as well. Otherwise, because it is small, the subject won't be able to stand out in the picture. So a lot of consideration needs to be done in order to create an impressive negative composition photo. But once you're able to do it, you'll be able to create a strong image, and probably even stronger compared to just filling the frame. Tip number 3, incorporate layers. Use layers to add depth and 3Dness into the image. You can do this with a couple of things. You can probably introduce a foreground, maybe a frame within a frame for your subject, or also a foreground and midground as well. So we have even more layers to play around with to create even stronger sense of depth. Using layering can help to add a dimension into the image and make for a nice storytelling element into the picture. It can help with a sense of journey, and again, sense of depth, that 3Dness that we always love with our images. It will make the whole image look more impressive, in my opinion. But again, a lot of consideration needs to be done. Don't overdo it, because when you overdo it, the tendency is that it will look cluttered and not as nice. So yeah, use your best judgment, and the goal here is to incorporate more storytelling elements into the picture. And that leads nicely to tip number 4, which is to remove clutter. Now I will confuse you again. You said add layer, Gary. You said add this, add that, try to make the picture look beautiful. Yes, that's right. But I'm not talking about removing layers or removing anything that could add interestingness into your image. I'm just talking about removing clutter. Make sure the background that you select is clean. Make sure that you don't have distracting parts on the image that can distract the viewer from the subject itself. Yes, this is very important for telephoto picture, because with telephoto picture everything is more focused, everything has more impact right now on the frame, and just the tiniest slightest distractions can actually ruin the image. Now, with all of these tips, am I actually helping you to understand telephoto pictures, or am I actually making you even more confused compared to before you watch this video? If you are now more confused, that's good. Because actually all that matters is tip number 5. Practice more often. Shoot more often with your telephoto lens. Go out in the field, try to practice as often as you can with your telephoto lenses. Try to get more experience with it. Again, as I mentioned in the early part of the video, telephoto perspective is very different from what our eyes actually see. So we need that practice, we need that reps, we need that exercise, more experience with this particular lens, so that we can understand better its quirkiness, its strengths, its weaknesses, so that we're able to think more in terms of telephoto language, be able to see directly what's a potential nice telephoto picture with our eyes. I think that's very important. So yeah, more reps, more practice, more exercise with telephoto lens will definitely help you to take better telephoto pictures. There's no shortcut around that. So why not grab our telephoto lens right now and let's start shooting out in the field. Now that I've shared all of my compositional tips of using telephoto lens, allow me to share a little bit about some technical tips of actually using a telephoto lens with your camera. First of all, be stable. When the telephoto lens has the OIS, optical image stabilizer, use it. Or if it doesn't have OIS, if your camera does have in-body stabilizer, use it. Or even better, use both. Some cameras like my Micro Four Thirds Panasonic Lumix cameras will allow dual IS, so optical image stabilizer on the lens combined together with the in-body stabilizer to create a very nice, strong stabilization with these telephoto lenses. If that's not available, then maybe consider having some sort of camera support, maybe a monopod or tripod to help you stabilize your telephoto lens. And also, it will really help if you have a steady hand. Try to hand hold your camera and lens properly with enough contact points so that it is as stable as you can have. And also, when you're trying to take some telephoto pictures with telephoto lens, it will also help to hold your breath a little bit just before and when you are taking the picture, almost like using a sniper rifle, because with telephoto lens, again, the magnification is really great, and any little movements, any little jitters caused by shakiness will be pronounced greatly in the image. Now, suppose you don't have all of the options that I just mentioned before, the OIS with the lens or in-body stabilizer with your camera, you don't have a monopod or tripod, you don't have a good camera holding technique, or you're not able to hold your breath for a long period of time. Don't worry, I think it is safe to say that at least what you can do when you are shooting telephoto picture is to set your shutter speed as high as possible. There's a rule saying that it must be at least twice of the focal length of your lens, but I don't think that is true, because even though I used that rule in the past, I do still get some shakiness, even though I try to be as steady as I can without my tripod or monopod. So what I'm going to say to you is to shoot in at least 1/500 shutter speed to make sure that we don't have jitters or shakes introduced in the picture. You can shoot faster, that will even be better. Sometimes I will set my camera to 1000, 2000 or even 4000 and open up the aperture as large as I can, especially during daylight. If it's low light condition, then shooting with telephoto will be tricky, and at least you want a good support, again a tripod or monopod in conjunction with high enough shutter speed, which will be a little bit difficult in low light, but it can still be done. I mean, we are shooting with digital cameras, so another tip that I want to share is to take as many bursts as you can, so that even though the shutter speed is low and you don't have a good support or a stabilizer and whatnot, there's still a chance that one of these bursts will turn out to be a sharp and jitter-free picture. Anyway, before I end this video, I want to quickly talk about my favorite telephoto lenses, especially for micro four thirds, because I am personally a micro four thirds shooter. Let's begin with this guy. This is the Olympus 45mm f1.8. Very small, very light, but very sharp. It takes great pictures. It has large f1.8 aperture, great for portrait. I love it personally for portrait. It's not really that telephoto, it's not really that zoomed in, but again, a mild telephoto for portrait. This is a nice lens for that. Next, my all-time favorite telephoto lens, Panasonic Lumix 35-100mm f4 to f5.6. Again, small, light, and also it takes great picture, and I just love it so much because it's a zoom lens, which makes it very versatile. You can go mild telephoto 35mm or zoom it in all the way 100mm and get that nice compression. It doesn't have large aperture, but it's so good for travel photography and for distant landscape photography. Next favorite, Olympus 75mm f1.8, the beast. This is what I love to use for taking portraits. The focal length for portrait is a little bit long in my opinion. This is great for headshots, things like that. Otherwise you have to stand back really far. But the result captured using this lens is just amazing. Whenever I have the chance, whenever I have the opportunity, I always love to try to use this lens. Next is this guy right here, Panasonic Lumix 35-100mm f2.8. So this is like the larger version of the 35-100 f4 to f5.6. This has the large f2.8 aperture. So for portrait it works well, for landscape it also works well. It's slightly larger than what I like, but the flexibility of the zoom range and also the large f2.8 aperture really makes it very versatile and useful. Also, it is weather sealed. Next favorite, not really a dedicated telephoto lens, but more of a super zoom lens. Panasonic Lumix 14-140mm f3.5 to f5.6. So not only this does a great job as a telephoto lens, it can also become your wide angle lens as well. Just zoom in and zoom out, very versatile, especially for travel photography. Image quality, usually people will think of a super zoom as sort of a compromise, but not with this guy. I got so many great keeper pictures with the 14-140. Last but not least, an ultra telephoto lens. This is the strength of micro four thirds, to be honest, and it's the Panasonic Lumix 100-300mm f4 to f5.6. So when you want to photograph something that is very small or very far away, I think this is the relatively great choice, because it's not really that expensive, it's not really that big, it's not really that heavy compared to other equivalent lenses. It takes great pictures, and 300mm in micro four thirds, that's about 600mm in full frame. It can really get you that magnification that you are looking for. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video so far and you want to learn more about telephoto photography, travel photography, landscape photography, all that kind of good stuff, I want to invite you to check out my travel photography video course called Simplifying Travel Photography with the link right here. In that video, I explained all that I know, my experience, my expertise related to travel photography after doing it for more than 11-12 years. And yeah, a lot of the parts on that video features telephoto lenses photography in real world scenario. I'm photographing in Iceland on so many different locations. I think you will like it. You will be able to learn more about telephoto pictures and travel landscape in general in that video. And yeah, I hope that you will like that video course. Anyway, enough about me. What about you guys? I wanna learn from you as well. What are some of your tips and tricks when you are using telephoto lenses? Please share down below. I'd love to hear and learn from you so that we can, exchange knowledge and become better photographers. But anyway, that's all for today's video about telephoto photography. Hopefully this has been interesting, entertaining, useful, informative, and inspiring. And yeah, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. Again, if you want to support my work even further, I invite you to check out my travel photography video course called Simplifying Travel Photography. I will put the link once more right here. You can also join my paid Patreon membership where you will get some special benefits, being able to download my Lightroom preset, being able to download my photos, and also access all of my tutorials, my courses, my books, my videos right there. I think you will like it. And then also use affiliate links down below. You will get some discounts on select products and services, while at the same time I will get a small kickback to help me keep this channel running, and also maybe use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel. Thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.